about 10 years ago, and we started buying different products. We bought Kaseya, had tried several other products as well, and we found that there were certain elements that we were missing inside of the product for the way that we wanted to do business. So what we decided to do is we started building the dashboard product where we would be able to have access to those critical elements of information that we needed to have access to. We could see right at a glance. So kind of that that single pane of glass that's kind of been the dream that companies have all had. So what we did is we started building ConnectSMART for ourselves. And what we're looking at here on my desktop is a view of some of the gadgets that we would be using internally. So each one of these is a separate element. So in this case, we're just looking at a single monitor since it's a little difficult to do a presentation with multiple monitors. But most of our people are going to have multiple monitors, and whether they're having the metrics or the numbers that they need to see wrapped around their primary application, so whether they're logged into Service Desk and looking at the information that they need, and they may have other elements wrapped around it, or they're working in their email and other things, and they may not be right in front of the application, but they can see when the information comes up. So first off, we are looking at the service desk. So some of those basic metrics of things that you would want to see of what are the service tickets that I have assigned to my username, and the ability to do something about it. So in this case, looking at my tickets, so it knows that I'm logged in as D. Martin, so it's pulling in the tickets that are assigned to D. Martin, and I can see these 3 tickets, and I can see the content of those, and have the ability to drill all the way through to all the way into Kaseya itself. So being able to look at these as a chart or as a graph, and again being able to drill into them, and not only on the my standpoint or the currently logged in user, which is useful for the service technician, but also from an overall view. So being able to look at, in this case I'm looking at service desk tickets, and I'm looking at this by status, but maybe I want to look at all the service desk tickets by type. And so I can see some of those additional tickets that are showing up in the service desk. So the ones that I'm responsible for as a service desk manager, I can see what those tickets are. And we have the ability to, again, drill down on any of these and be able to make this dashboard the way that I want to see it. All right. So we have a variety of gadgets that you can take a look at. I'm looking at some of these pre-built ones first, just to kind of give you an idea. So whether we're looking at this as a chart, as a pie chart, a graph, or as a digital panel, we can see the information at a glance in the way that we need to see it. So if I look at again, this is back to my tickets, so just looking at a count of tickets on the service desk. We also have the ability to group them by any of the columns that we have here. So if I want to look at these by priority, and I just wanted to look at the urgent tickets that we have, then I could go ahead and do that, and again click on it to go all the way through, and I'll show that a little bit later. All right. So in addition to looking at some of the different numbers in Service Desk as it applies to tickets, we also have the ability to look at alarms and also views. Let me go ahead and take alarms first, and let's do this. In this particular one, I am looking at the alarms by the machine group. And just change the style that we're looking at. Make this a little bit larger so you can see it. So in this case, I wanted to have a view of alarms as they're coming up by those different groups. So I can take a look at a particular group that I want to. Again, double click on that bar to get that full list of what are those, what are those different alarms that were being fired for a particular server, and the ability to go all the way through, as an example, since this has a view for the machine ID. I can go ahead and go directly to the management of that machine to look at procedures, procedure history, dig into those alarms, go ahead and remote control or resolve the issue. So being able to now change some of the thresholds that we're using, so instead of having as many things creating a ticket on our service desk, we can see some of these things that are happening before they hit the ticketing system or before they're showing up in one of those other alarms, and we can make the determination, all right, now I see that a particular machine is offline. Do I go ahead and create a ticket or leave it alone? All right. So close this down. All right. So now let me go ahead and show you, just as again a quick example of a finished gadget. A few of the ones that we're using a lot are going to be things like remember to check those machines where credentials have failed, where that will go ahead and just show up automatically that we have 24 machines where the credentials have failed. I can look at these, whether that's by a group, and I can go and look at this workstation. I can change those different values if I look at my parameters that we have defined. So I may only care about credential failing on servers and not on workstations. So you can see I have 10 machines where the credential failed on servers, and again, I can go right into those machines. These are all online to be able to determine what is going on with that machine and to go ahead and remediate that problem. And things like credentials not tested. Now in addition, I'll show you another. This is a particular view, but you can see that I can make this as a count of any view that I have defined anywhere in Kaseya. So in this case, I'm looking at a group called OS33, and I can look at those on online or offline switches as well. So I can see that I have none of those servers offline. So my critical colo list, all those different lists that we would have for critical servers at a client site. As soon as anything goes offline, I can have that show up in a gadget that's going to show as soon as any machine goes offline, I can see that number in here. I can drill down on it, take a look at it. A human decision to see, is this something that we need to take action on, or it's irrelevant, their internet dropped for a second, it's right back online, no reason to create a ticket. All right, so we've looked at a couple of these gadgets that we have finished. And I don't want to spend time kind of showing you through every single gadget that exists. I want to take you into the creator of how we create these gadgets so you can see how it is that we're coming up with those basically the options that you have to be able to create your own dashboards, to be able to make your own your own secret sauce that's going to give you that competitive advantage. So in this case, I'm looking in our ConnectSMART for Kaseya, and we have the various ticketing information. We have the different overall service desk gadgets that are kind of created for us in advance, and we have some of the elements for RMM, specifically those alarms, counts, and the machines in the view. So let me play here for a minute. I'm just going to take on, let's do on service desk first. And if we take a look at, just by double clicking on a gadget, it's going to go ahead and add that gadget into our panel to be able to work with. And now we have the ability to change all the different elements that are creating this gadget. So you can see that I can change the stages that they're in, the view that they're in. I can have, it's an in or a not in option. Is it a machine group, an organization, a particular service desk type, etc. So that you can get really get the gadget down to show just the data that you're looking for. So when we go in here, we can select those, particular ones that we're looking for, as we were talking about, to include or exclude. So you can really make this exactly what you're looking for. And it's as simple as defining my elements. Let me go ahead and save this. Save it out as a test. And let's go take a look at what we just created. Okay, and we now have a new gadget that is our test gadget. So this looks great on a white background, but as you can see, I like to have a black background, and most of our customers are usually going to have a black background for when they're going to be presenting this up on dashboards for multiple people to be able to see, not just for their own use. So I'm going to make a few changes to this. Hop over here. So the way that we would customize it to look how kind of my preferred look and feel is I usually change this just to be a simple black. And then if we wanted to change our text, we could do that. I'm going to go ahead and just, I'll go ahead and change this. I'll just say here. So this is for Service Desk 1. I'm going to go ahead and save this out as Test 2. And as simple as that, we have created a new gadget. I can go ahead and close that to where it blends right into my background, and I've created a new gadget that can now be deployed out to any of my users. All right, so we have gone through the very, very quick 15-minute show and tell real quick. And I'm going to go ahead and turn this over for any questions that anyone has at this point. I believe Evan has been monitoring the questions. So, Evan, are you online?
Yeah, sorry there. I had to unmute. Yep, I'm online.
All right. So, have any questions come in so far that we want to answer? As anyone who has a question that they want to go ahead and put in there, go ahead and raise your hand, and we will get that over. We'll turn your mic on.
I'm going to put up a poll too, so you're welcome to answer that. Watch that quick. I don't know if we may want to do that towards the end, but go for it.
This is Ben, by the way. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
We can hear you now, Ben.
Yeah, I think it was a go-to meeting bug. I was talking before, and I'm like, hey, why can't you hear me? I just muted and then unmuted myself in the go-to meeting panel, and it seems like everyone can hear me. I was just going to mention a couple things about you guys, ConnectSMART, and first off, thank you for inviting me to the event. The dashboard stuff you've got set up here is awesome, and we're really excited to have you and any other kind of service providers or IT departments or software developers that are in your kind of shoes that are looking at developing solutions that integrate more tightly with a product. So if any of you guys have other vendors you work with, we're certainly happy to talk to them to see these kind of solutions created and working within the Kaseya ecosystem. I know I've gone up and visited the folks up at the ConnectSMART shop. They were down here in Fort Lauderdale area. I happen to be here in Miami. And they are an excellent group of guys. So it's really cool to see this come to fruition. They were at our at the annual user conference. Hopefully, for those of you that went, you got to visit, hang out with them. Looking forward to seeing this really get expanded among the customer base and see you folks get more out of Kaseya. So I'll go ahead and hand that back to you, Daniel. If anyone has any questions for me, I'll be around for the end of the event. So.
Excellent. All right. So let's go ahead and hit some of the questions that have come up. Sean had a question about the ConnectSMART implementation, if it was being more geared towards service desk for Kaseya. I think we've answered that at this point. There is obviously the service desk elements that are available for the tickets by type, but when we're looking at the alarms and particularly those counts of items in a view, so those critical servers offline, those BES servers needing patch, waiting reboot, all those different elements that are really the on the RMM side of Kaseya, we're handling that as well with ConnectSMART. In addition, we have some updates that are coming out that are at no extra charge for our ConnectSMART for Kaseya customers, which includes the some of the backup information. You'll see some more information coming out for the antivirus, the anti-malware. All those different modules are being added in. All right. So there was also a question about the pricing. The basic pricing is starting at $125 a month. So this is you have the option to add users or remove, and you can change. It's a month-to-month thing, so there's no contract. Where it's $125 covers your up to 5 users. So in addition to having what we were looking at here on the desktop, there's also a mobile version. So you can see all of the different pricing information on our website at www.connectsmart.com, and we could help you figure out the pricing if you needed mobile or multiple, different number of users or any of the other add-ons that we have as well. So that would also apply to Kevin, who was asking if you could mix and match gadgets between, in his case, using ConnectWise and Kaseya. So there is a separate charge as an add-on charge for the additional package, but yes, you can mix and match them, and they'll be in the same creator for you. Also, Sean had a question about failed Acronis backups. That is something that we will have very shortly, being able to monitor failed Acronis backups. Another excellent question that came up is, when you share the dashboards that you create, can you force them as a view only? Absolutely. Typically, what I was showing you was on the creator side was more of an administrator's view, and when you push those out to the end user, you can control any element of what they can or cannot change. So you may want them to see maybe what view it's looking at, but not be able to change that view. And you can turn that where they can see it and not change it, or can't even see what it is, so you can have it completely locked down. The refresh interval, where the question came, is what is the refresh interval for the pane? That is completely up to you. So you can set your refresh time to really anything that you want. And John Morris had a question about to those individual widgets and gadgets, and be able to, anything that you can connect to a web service, to a SQL server, basically anything that has an ODBC connection, you can leverage our technology and the tool to create anything that you want. All right, there was a question about, is this tied to the MSP module of ConnectWise? And no, there's no requirement for the integration, because this is purely, what we're looking at today is purely for Kaseya. So we're not looking at something that Kaseya had pushed into ConnectWise or ConnectWise had pulled in. This is purely Kaseya. All right. There was another question about using the Kaseya dashboard to show servers that are up or down, signified by a green or red icon. In a sense, is there a gadget to do that? That is what we use. Instead of looking at the, we have the total number online and the total number offline. So the way we would look at that is, as soon as my server's offline, if it went from 0 to 1 or to whatever number, we would see that and be able to double click on it, drill down into that list again to take action. All right. See if there were any other questions. We still have about 6 minutes. Some of you are on your lunch breaks. We want to make sure to honor your time. Right, if there's any other questions.
Right. Dan, so, you may want to cover one of those questions.
Go ahead and finish up.
I was just going to say, you may want to, the one about importing data from non-Kaseya sources in Developer Edition.
I missed that, sorry.
From Amado Hidalgo.
What was the question?
Can you import data from non-Kaseya sources? Say I run a survey on closed tickets, it generates a CSV. Can I have a gadget to show a pie chart?
Yes, thank you. Yes, you can. So with the Developer Edition, you could tie that into really any data source. So that's something that we do a lot. We have an internal party meter. So when we're running individual contests or quarterly bonus things, some of that simply is going to go into a spreadsheet, and that'll be tallied up. It's not something that really exists in a system somewhere, and it doesn't make sense to build another database. And so we can have those results going into a pie chart or into really any kind of a graphical element that you would want, leveraging the Developer Edition. And that would include things like your bar charts, your different radial gauges, thermometer styles, even maps. You really have a huge amount of options of what you want those to look like. So, just for a for an individual chart, you have about 20 different options to to define those. Another question question that is there a browser-based client or can they be published to a web page? There is currently not a browser-based client. There are some ways that you can, push a gadget out to an image file. We are looking at adding in specifically a web client, so we'll use the same technology and have that published to a web page container. That's not currently something that we are supporting. All right, were there any other questions that I missed? Looks like we've got everything. All right. That puts us right at 2:30. So I want to thank you, everyone, for attending. And if anyone has any questions that we did not cover, they weren't able to get typed into the question window or like to follow up with us, please catch us. Kathleen, who has been answering some of your questions directly, she is a primary point of contact. You can see us at ConnectSMART.com. All of our contact information is there. And we will look forward to speaking with you soon. So thank you, everyone, and hope you have a great day.